Hi guys, it's Jake here again, and this is part 2 of the journey to peace within your body. Part 1 we covered allergies and my personal story with that. Things like allergies, sickness, injuries. These are all things that are capable of physically holding us back. These are things that you need to research and take care of to make sure that your body is ready to be functioning at 100%. So these are things that are physically capable of holding you back, but when it comes to the next step, often people forget to do goal setting. They just want to have what they see in the cover of magazines, and they don't even think about the short-term goals. So what does goal setting do for you? I talked about bodily confidence being having confidence that you know what your body is going to do when you want to do it. Functional strength, like walking up the stairs, carrying stuff, being able to move your hands and arms in space like you would like to. But bodily confidence is also knowing that you're capable of reaching short-term goals through education and knowledge of how to reach those goals, and through having a drive inside of us, which all of us do. We just often use the drive in the wrong aspect. We'll try to get to the person we see on the cover of magazines way too fast. Lots of times these people are taking performance-enhancing drugs or photoshopped. You don't even know, and it's not saying that you can't be have an amazing body and that you can't be a beautiful person, because we all can do that. But looking to other people and wanting that quickly is a downfall for a lot of people because they get discouraged quickly. So you can be very, very empowered through having short-term goals and having the knowledge of how to get there. We all have the fire inside us, but having a coach along the way is helpful as well. So if you guys want to respond to this video and just sort of say what your long-term and short-term goals are, or respond with a comment or anything, I'll keep you to it if you like. So when setting goals, a problem that we often come into is trying to do too much too fast. Trust me, I know what this is all about because I was in wrestling in high school, so I lost 13 pounds in 2 days. And they didn't really educate us on how to do it. But trying to do too much too fast. No one's saying that you're not trying hard, You obviously are, but crash diets often result in yo-yo diets when you eat like 500 calories one day, and you kind of can feel you're getting hungry, but you're like, I don't care, I'm on a diet, I'm losing weight. And the next day you eat like 4,000 or 5,000 calories, whatever, and in the end, what you're really doing is you're messing up your metabolism. If I had to give it an analogy, I'll give an analogy for myself of how I'm still not quite good at this. So you can see here, I've picked at a few pimples that I've had on my face, and it's because I didn't like how they looked, kind of like people might not like how their body looks. I didn't like how it looked, and I just wanted the short term of it to go away, even though I knew that all it would do was cause another scab and possibly a scar in the future. And I still haven't learned my lesson with that, and I do it. I can tell that now. I do it less now, but I do it whenever I get into my head and I start getting anxious thoughts, or I get bored or whatever. So I know why you guys want to do these crash diets and do it quickly, and it's because you don't like what you see and you want to change it fast, and you want to show how determined you are. But another product of trying too much too fast is just not being properly educated. That's why on these fitness magazines they're trying to sell you tons of supplements on the inside. Supplements do have their purpose. Stuff like multivitamins, protein, fish oil, creatine when used properly, tons of other vitamins and supplements. They have their place. But for a high school guy, playing sports, looking in the magazine of someone who's 250 pounds and 5% body fat and buying, energy pills because he thinks it's going to make him look like him, that's just being taken advantage of, and it's not fair because, most people aren't educated in this stuff. We've been researching science and astronomy for however long, but, the first bodybuilders weren't around until the 20th century. We haven't been studying physiology like we have up until the last couple centuries, so this is still new. And that's why it's getting easier and easier to get in shape, because we're educating ourselves. But lots of times when you try to do too much too fast, you're listening to your head, and in your body you can feel that, hey, maybe I'm pushing it a little bit too much right now, but your head says, I don't care, I want to get to that goal, I want to have that perfect body. So just think of it as sort of a scab on your metabolism whenever you try to do a crash diet or a yo-yo diet, you know, because it's messing up your metabolism. Your body doesn't understand why you're not treating it properly. So, all right, having good short-term goals. If you are significantly overweight, you could probably lose, 5 pounds a month. You know, that's 60 pounds a year. You know, so even if you were like 100 pounds overweight, it only took you 2 years to get back down, and that's not bad at all. You know, if you're just a little bit overweight, maybe something like 2 or 3 pounds a month is more realistic. But it's about setting, proper short-term goals that you can reach, and then educating yourself on how to reach these goals. You know, being consistent, not having days where you try to change it all. Even if the night before you had some chocolate and some cheese and some wine before you went to bed, it doesn't mean the next day you eat only 500 calories, because your body's not going to appreciate it, and it'll let you know that. And the next day you might eat like 4,000 calories because your body's like, no, we're not going to accept that. That's not how I work. If you're going to want to perfect me, then you're going to have to respect me. Okay, so short-term goals. I'm trying to think what else I'm trying to say here. Give me a second. Okay, so setting goals. It's very important. I got a mind fart. I'll be right back. Okay, so once you set your short-term goals based off of what your long-term goals are. And everybody's long-term goals are different. While you can aspire to have something similar to someone else, all your goals have to be yours. They can't be other people's goals. And that means you have to accept where you are at this current state in time. It might be uncomfortable if you don't like where your body's at this time, but you have to accept it. And you can't be beating yourself up over it either, because then that'll cause you to one day try to do a crash diet, or to 3 hours in the gym and just be way too hard on your body. So it's important to have realistic long-term goals. Okay, so I'd like to give you guys a couple examples, of how within the body I've suffered from not keeping in touch with the overall concept of long-term goals. I can remember one weekend in college where I hadn't really eaten that much. I was like, well, I'm getting my calories from alcohol, so I'm just gonna have like 600 or 800 calories of food, and it's gonna be pretty much all protein, and it's all good because the rest of the calories are coming from alcohol and juice with it, whatever. Well, I had a seizure that weekend. I had a seizure, and it was one of the scariest things in my life. Also last semester in college, I tried my hardest to lean up. I can remember the summer before, some girl told me, she's like, wow, I've never been with a big guy, and it wasn't even that big, but I went from probably about like 210, 215 down to like 185 in a couple months, and I tried to maintain that throughout the last semester of school, and I developed an eating disorder because my metabolism did not appreciate it. It was like, dude, seriously, why are you doing this? This isn't what's good for you. This is not good for you now in the short term, and it's certainly not good for you in the long term. And it's because I was beating myself up on the inside because I wanted to be better, but I ended up starting to beat myself up on the outside. I developed bulimia, and I knew that it was the one way where I could get instant satisfaction and then beat myself up right afterwards, and that's what I was all about. I was all about just getting my sensory satisfaction from lights or music or eating a lot of food, and then beating myself up for it later. And that caused a pretty huge scab on my metabolism, on my heart, and my brain. I had to research on the bodybuilding forums, why eating disorders occur and how to get out of them. I had to see a therapist to sort of stop beating myself up over it, and to talk to him about it, and talk about maybe why I did it. And my body, it took me a while to physically recover from that. It took a while for my metabolism to get back up to normal speed. And there's still things possibly that could be affecting it from it. Maybe my enamel isn't quite as good as it could have been before. I got decent teeth, right? But it put a scab on everything because I was just all about the short term, and I knew that I was hurting myself. Just like many people know that it's not good to do yo-yo and crash diets, but they still do it. So I don't know if I've covered everything in this video, but it's long enough. So thank you guys for listening.